Welcome to Conversations with a Collector number 2. In our first go-round, we talked about the Krampus as a Christmas affectation, and now we're going to talk about the Krampus companion who came with St. Nicholas on St. Nicholas Day, the Belsnickel. Now most people look at a Belsnickel, and the pieces I have in front here are Belsnickels. Consider them a Santa, but they're really not a Santa. They came with St. Nicholas, and they came on St. Nicholas Day, which was December 6th, which obviously is before Christmas. So as a result, they were not the Santa Claus gift-bearing figure that we associate today. They were a precursor to the holiday, and actually they were known to peek in windows, knock on doors, and generally check out to see what child was doing naughty and nice. The Belsnickel was given as a Christmas gift, though, and to good children, the Belsnickel Candy Container was given. And these are examples of Victorian Belsnickel candy containers. Now, the reason they're called candy containers is because they're hollow. And if I turn him up, you can see the bottom is hollow, and it has vestiges of paper. There was paper pasted across the bottom, and the inside was stuffed with candy and little treats. Candy container. The Belsnickel carries a little feather tree branch. He always has a beard, and he has some type of a hood or a cowl. He doesn't have a hat as such. We normally associate Santa with a hat. A Belsnickel has a cowl hood. Always the Christmas tree, a gnomish face, and always a beard, and he always sort of looks elfish. Here's another example of the Belsnickel Santa. Both of these are circa 1890, carrying a variation of the brush tree. When you look at the bottom of this, you'll see again it's hollow. Originally there would have been paper across the top with the candy on the inside. Now you'll notice this one is a silvery color, this one is a gold color. Both of them glisten with bits of mica, and mica is sort of isinglass. They're made of paper mache, and the rule of the thumb for purchasing a Belsnickel of this vintage is roughly $100 an inch. Now if you go on eBay, you'll see them for a variety of prices. The best Belsnickels have colors of robes other than red. And you'll notice a true Belsnickel has a robe and then his boots, and he's on a pedestal. Modern day Santa Clauses have a jacket, pants, and then the robe. So a Belsnickel is actually in a robe. This is a rare one, and this is a candy container. He opens at the waist, and this is a French candy container, a variation on the Belsnickel, and this would be called Père Noël. This is one of my favorites. Sort of a flat, primitive moon face looking candy container. Chalkware and paper mache. This bottom comes off right here. Carrying a brush tree. An unusual purple and mica coat. Now he's quite worn, and that's because these weren't meant to be saved. Remember, this was a candy container given to a child at Christmas. He would take it, and what would he do with it? He'd open it and eat the candy. Would you keep the box? Would you keep the wrapper for your Christmas present? No. So many times these were discarded. They weren't kept. This one is probably 1880s. This is a relatively modern, early 20th century. Again, a candy container where the bottom opens. He's got the long robe. He's paper mache, but not the heavy paper mache plaster of these. It's more a paper construction. You'll notice his face. He has a feather branch, but it's not the goose feather like the traditional feather tree. The fur on the bottom, the boot showing, but the look of it is more 20th century. These actually look gnomish. Here we're getting to look more like a Santa Claus. The oldest one on the table is this one. And this one's rare because the candy container opens this way. This one would probably be the 1870s. Original brush tree, purpley coat, long, vestiges of what once were silver. and the size is very appealing. Another Belsnickel, mica, paper mache, and this, and this are all of the same vintage. Another early 20th century, you'll notice again the robe, and you'll notice that the boots aren't showing on this one. The early Belsnickels have the long robes. When you get to the Santa Claus, it's the tunic and the pants that show. Here's a Belsnickel candy container, but the candy container is actually the box that the Santa is standing on, or the Belsnickel is standing on. We're getting in more to the Santa concept. This is from the 20s, because you'll notice he has a bag of toys on his back. Lastly, the one in the center here is a Christopher Radko interpretation of the antique Belsnickel. It's particularly nicely done. I like it a lot. It's got the mica. Do you notice the conical cowl that lilts to the side? He has the fur. He's wearing the tunic with the boots showing, and you notice his boots are red. Sweet face. These have more an elfish, maybe like a grimacing face. This one is sort of a friendly, sweet face. That's the role that the 20th century brought to Santa Claus. A little more friendly, a little more jovial. Belsnickel Santas, candy containers, wonderful collection. Hope you learned something. Tune in next and we'll talk about Santas on antique postcards.